Said fear is false evidence appearing real. That is an illusion that we create in our mind. It is a state of mind that can be changed. So let's look at how we can begin to take some steps to restructure that fear, to begin to expand our visions of ourselves, to begin to increase our self-esteem. Webster said that self-esteem means competence and satisfaction in oneself. Look at your life right now. Whatever you've done up to this point in time, your life is working. Whatever you have produced, it came out of you as a result of the kind of person that you have become. It's a result of your choices. It's a result of your consciousness. Now you have to ask yourself, are you satisfied with what you have produced? Is this what you want? Would you like for things to be better than this?
Spread love, man.
All right, let's jump right in. Today we're doing a deep dive into Les Brown's Have No Fear speech.
Oh, yeah, this one's great.
Really powerful stuff. We're going to try to pull out some really practical advice on conquering fear and how to find your purpose.
You know, it's really interesting how Les Brown right away connects finding your purpose with, like, literally saving your life.
It's true. He doesn't just, throw that out there either. He has a lot to back it up.
Right.
Remember that stat he gave? I think it's something like 85% of Americans hate their jobs.
Yeah.
Wow. I mean, that's a huge number of people. Why do you think so many people get stuck in jobs that make them unhappy?
Well, I think it's kind of a bunch of things, like societal pressures and economic realities. But I think, honestly, a lot of it is fear. We're kind of taught from when we're kids to follow a certain path. Go to school, get a stable job, climb the ladder. But what happens when that path, doesn't fit with your passions or your talent?
You end up feeling stuck.
Exactly.
Like you're just living somebody else's life.
Yeah.
I remember Les Brown called it a recipe for inner turmoil.
Wow. Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
He actually even compares it to staying in a bad relationship because you're scared.
I can see that. It seems a little extreme at first, but when you think about it, there are actually a lot of similarities psychologically.
Yeah.
In both situations, it's fear that's keeping you stuck. You convince yourself that what, even if it's painful, is better than going into the unknown.
It's easier to deal with the devil you know, right?
Right, even if it's slowly destroying you.
Totally.
Right.
But Les Brown doesn't just talk about the problem. He gives us a solution.
Yeah.
It's recognizing that fear is an illusion.
That's powerful.
He even quotes Zig Ziglar. I love Zig Ziglar.
Me too.
He famously said, "Fear is false evidence appearing real."
I love that quote. And it's that word illusion that's key, I think. It means that fear, even though it feels super real, it's actually made up in our heads. We imagine these worst-case scenarios, we blow things out of proportion, and create these mental roadblocks that stop us from doing anything.
It's like we're directing and starring in our own horror movies up there.
Exactly.
And all of this comes from fear of failure, fear of rejection, even fear of success sometimes.
It's true.
We tell ourselves we're not good enough, not smart enough, not ready. And then guess what? Those thoughts actually become real.
Yeah. So how do we break out of that?
Right. How do we stop being our own worst enemies? Well, Les Brown has some really good advice on how to deal with fear and build up your self-esteem. And it all starts with paying attention to what's going on in your head.
This is where I feel like you can really hear the passion in Les Brown's voice. He's really big on the power of positive self-talk.
Yeah.
He wants us to be our own cheerleaders.
Yeah.
To replace those negative voices with positive affirmations and encouragement.
You have to take control of the story that's playing in your mind. Choose to focus on your strengths, what you've accomplished, and your potential.
It's like trading in that inner critic for a supportive coach.
Totally.
Les Brown puts it perfectly when he says, if you don't program your mind will be programmed.
He doesn't just mean affirmations, though,
Yeah,
right?
sure.
He's talking about being aware of the information you're taking in, the people you hang out with, even the places you choose to be. It's all about creating an environment where your mind can flourish.
I like that, like weeding out the toxic stuff in your mental garden.
And he's honest. He doesn't try to sugarcoat it.
Yeah.
Les Brown knows retraining your thinking takes real effort. He even recommends actively looking for positive things to fill your mind with.
Like what kinds of things?
Workshops, seminars, motivational books, that sort of thing.
It's about feeding your mind good stuff.
Exactly. And surrounding yourself with people who inspire you.
It's like building a mental library full of wisdom, inspiration, and how-tos for personal growth.
I like that. But it's not enough to just take in the information, right?
Right.
Les Brown also talks about how important it is to actually think about things. He suggests journaling, to write down your thoughts and ideas.
Oh, I love that he talks about journaling.
Me too. It makes you slow down and pay attention to what's going on inside.
Yeah.
And connect with your intuition.
He even says you should act on those ideas you have, even the small ones.
It's taking those little sparks of inspiration and turning them into something real.
Sometimes those tiny steps lead to the biggest breakthroughs.
Absolutely.
He's reminding us that our minds are these incredible sources of creativity. Capture those ideas and let them grow.
And that brings us to Les Brown's most powerful message, in my opinion.
What's that?
Take the leap. It's about moving beyond just planning and dreaming and actually doing something.
You can hear it in his voice when he says it. He really believes that there are so many opportunities out there, but we have to be brave enough to grab them. He's basically saying, don't wait for the perfect time. Create it.
And he's real about it, you know? Taking that leap isn't easy.
Right.
There will be challenges, setbacks, maybe even some failures.
Right.
But he says we need to see those as chances to learn and grow.
That's a good point. You know, he has this great analogy about getting in the arena and being ready to get knocked down.
Oh, tell me about that one.
He says most people don't want to get in the arena because they don't want to fight. They're afraid of getting knocked down.
It's scary.
Yeah, but he says you're going to get knocked down either way, whether you're fighting or just watching from the sidelines.
So we might as well get knocked down for something we believe in, something we're passionate about.
Exactly. If you're just sitting on the sidelines, you're guaranteed to miss out.
That's so true. It makes you wonder, what's stopping you from getting in the arena? What's that one fear that's holding you back?
That's a good question.
It is. And it's something for all of us to think about. Okay, so we've talked about how fear can be this like sneaky little thing that keeps us from going after what we want. But the good news is we don't have to let it control us.
Right.
Les Brown gives us a way to understand and beat those fears. And it starts with taking a look at that voice in our heads.
The inner critic.
Exactly.
It's interesting how Les Brown doesn't just say, think positive.
Right.
He wants us to get to know those specific negative thoughts, those beliefs that are holding us back.
So we can like call them out.
Yeah, like let's see what these fear-based stories are really made of.
Okay, so we figured out what those fear-driven thoughts are. What do we do next?
Les Brown has this great technique where you question those thoughts, like put them on trial.
I like that.
Ask yourself, is this even true? What proof do I have?
Right.
Is there a better way to look at this situation?
So we're basically cross-examining those negative thoughts,
Yeah.
showing everyone how bogus they are.
Exactly. And when we do that, it creates space for new positive beliefs to come in.
Beliefs that actually help us.
Yes. Beliefs that support our goals, keep us motivated, and help us break free from being afraid.
Speaking of breaking free, Les Brown talks about doing things even when you're scared.
Taking action.
Yes. He really believes that courage isn't about not feeling fear. It's about doing things even though you're scared.
There's that quote by Susan Jeffers, feel the fear and do it anyway. I love that one.
Me too. It's like acknowledging that fear is part of growing, but it doesn't have to stop us.
It's like we're telling fear, I see you, but you don't control me.
And the interesting thing is, taking action actually makes fear less powerful.
Every time we push past that discomfort and take a step towards our goals, we get more confident.
It's proving to ourselves that we're stronger than we think.
Yeah, and as we start seeing results, fear becomes less of a roadblock and more like a signpost.
What do you mean?
It's a sign that we're on the right path, pushing ourselves and reaching our potential.
It's like they say everything you want is on the other side of fear.
Right. And that brings us to another important part of Les Brown's message. Don't give up.
Persistence.
Yes. He knows getting to your dreams isn't always easy.
There are going to be bumps in the road.
Exactly. But he's telling us to keep going, to never give up on what we want.
He has this really powerful analogy about a bamboo tree.
Oh, yeah. Tell me about that.
For the first few years, you don't see any growth above ground.
Right.
But underground, a huge root system is developing.
Getting strong.
Exactly. And getting ready to grow like crazy.
It's a great metaphor.
It is. It reminds us to be patient, to keep going, and to trust the process. Sometimes the most important work is happening where we can't see it.
It's like building a foundation that can handle anything.
And here's the thing. The journey is just as important as the destination.
It's about learning from our mistakes and celebrating every little win along the way.
It's about enjoying the process of becoming the best version of ourselves.
And that makes me think of a question that's at the heart of what Les Brown is saying. What are you willing to fight for?
What's that dream that's so important to you that you'll face your fears and keep pushing until you get there?
That's something to think about.
You know, one thing that really sticks with me about Les Brown's message is how it makes you feel like you can actually do anything.
It's true. He gives you that push to dream big and get out of your comfort zone.
Yeah, and to be okay with things not always going perfectly.
It's like he reminds us that it's okay to not have all the answers. You can still start.
He reminds us that we're capable of way more than we think we are.
Totally. It's like he's saying, hey, you've got this amazing potential just waiting to come out. Don't let fear stop you.
And he doesn't just pump us up with motivation.
Right.
He gives us real tools to use, like questioning our fears.
That's such a simple but powerful exercise.
I know. When we actually look closely at those scary thoughts,
Yeah.
they often turn out to be not so scary after all.
It's like they were just illusions all along.
And then he tells us to replace those thoughts with positive ones.
Like choosing to focus on what we can do, what we want to achieve.
It's like we're training our brains to be more successful.
It's amazing how much our mindset affects everything.
I know. When we believe in ourselves, we can really do anything.
We become a different version of ourselves.
Bolder, stronger.
More connected to what we're really meant to do.
And Les Brown makes it clear that this whole process of self-discovery and growth never really ends.
Yeah. There will be good times and bad times. The important thing is to just keep moving forward.
So as we wrap up our deep dive into Les Brown, I want to leave you with this. Think of one area in your life where you're letting fear hold you back.
Maybe it's a dream you haven't started chasing yet, a goal that seems too scary.
Or a change you need to make.
Ask yourself, what's one little thing I can do today to get closer to that?
Remember, you don't have to do something huge. Even a tiny step in the right direction can make a difference.
Just like that bamboo tree.
Les Brown tells us that we all have greatness inside of us.
Don't let fear take over. Go out there and show the world what you're made of.
That's all for this deep dive. Until next time.